Hey everyone, welcome to No Cap. We're back. We're back on the videos, boys. What's going on? Abbas, how you going?
Yeah, not bad. How are you?
What a win, man, for your Panthers, your beloved Panthers.
It's just expected now this week.
Can you quickly tell us the story of how you became a Panthers fan again when you were a young kid?
Yeah, look, it all happened. It's been a while. It's about 8 months ago. And yeah, actually no, it was about 12 when the signing of Curacao came, and then just slid right in.
Nah, it's a great story, and Tony, man, welcome back.
Thanks, boys. Good
I
to
thought,
be back.
I'm shocked. I've got to give you credit because, 6 in a row you've lost now, Brisbane. It takes some guts to show up, man, honestly.
100%. But that's what I'm here for, If we're down 6 in a row, always stick by the boys. Improved effort this week, but...
You're not changing teams?
Nah, my name's not Abbas, so...
Hey, let's get straight to it. The news of the week.
On camera and he's sending shots. Look at him.
Hey, man, it's no cap, baby. It's been a pretty big week. More on the field than off. But John Bateman finally confirmed where he's going next season. He's going back to Wigan. It's pretty ugly, the conversations, the contract negotiations with Canberra. Do you think that was the best, outcome at the end of the day?
Well, if he's homesick, like he said, I don't see why he shouldn't go back to England. We saw that statement he released earlier this week about being homesick, wanting to go back to his family. And he did say that he's vowing to win another comp, which is what we want to hear. And any rumours about him like breaking down with any of the Raiders staff or his teammates is probably not true at this point. Like there was footage in the dressing room of him and Ricky laughing before the game. Like seems like they still got a intact relationship. So not much to worry about. Like you gotta forgive the guy if he wants to go back to his home, I guess.
But is it right that he comes back into the team after all that rubbish that took place? You think it, like, even though the players are okay with him, but the coach came out and made a statement. He wasn't happy.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they need him. He's probably their best, like one of their best players. They've got another 3 injured from last week, so they have no choice really, even if he was. Abbas,
they were dirty because they paid a $400,000 release clause to get him to Canberra, and then now he's turned their back on him. So you can understand Ricky's frustration.
That was for me. That was their decision. I'm sure he wasn't telling them to pay that $400,000 release clause. They probably wanted it because they wanted him as a player. And to be honest, if he is homesick, as he's saying, you're probably not going to get the best out of him for an extension. So what's the point of really having him here if he doesn't want to be here, if his head's not in the right place? We see constantly that players play their best football when, everything is intact, even at home and on the field. So if they're not happy at home, chances are their performance are not going to be as good too. So if he wants to go back, let him go back. For me.
And at the very least, just to add as well, he didn't sign with another NRL club. At least he's gone.
It was on the table, but it was on the table.
Know. It was considered, but
I'm sure he considered
that is one positive to take out of it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's probably the main thing that Canberra wanted. They didn't want him to sign with the NRL team. Let's move on. Weekend's games is pretty jam-packed, man. But just quickly on Joey Leilua, he lost his cool a bit. He copped 4 weeks? Should
have copped 10.
I think it was just a case of brotherly love.
What did Dylan Edwards have to do with that?
Mate, that's Joey Leilua. That's G. His players up, bro. He's just looking for something.
Get sent off with 5 minutes left.
Hey, man, look. I don't condone his actions, but do you blame him?
Yes, I do.
In the heat of the battle.
Well,
it was a really rough game. I didn't expect that kind of game.
Do I expect anything different from Joey Leilua? No, that's what he does. That's what he does. But can I blame him? Of course I can blame him. Everyone's responsible for their actions. Now, I mean, to get sin bin is bad in a game, but then to also now cost your team 4 weeks, possibly 6, depending on the judiciary if he fights it or not. I mean, you're letting your team down for 4 weeks now.
But we know that's Joey Leilua. That's the risk you take. You get him, he can win you a game and he can cost you a game. Initially, obviously, what sparked it was when your mate... Uppy had a great game, but in that moment, he kind of took out Luciano.
Oh, look. Luciano Leilua was probably at a like he was bent down to the bottom. Like he was trying to score a try. I mean, if that wasn't a normal part of the field, Uppy would have probably hit him in the stomach.
No, of course. You say it all the time.
Thankfully, he did get up and walk off the field, so there's no real big injuries there.
It took a while. That's why everyone was a bit like worried. Like, what the hell's going on? He's still down. And Joey, at the same time, him going to his brother and Uppy coming to say sorry in that moment, he tried to G his players up again. That was like, he was probably pissed, but he was also trying to fire up his teammates.
You gotta love the passion, you know. You don't get much of that in the game right now. Like, I always bring up that incident probably 2 years ago at Belmore when he scored the winning try against Josh Morris, and he gave him some words after it, but then he got punished for it even by his coach. Like, it's good theatre for the game, and he still gets punished for like simple things that spark rivalry, which is what the game needs, and we're lacking. So. Obviously, it's an illegal play, but
I'm happy you said that.
I'm passionate.
I'm happy you said that. We'll get to that later in the interview. Right?
Also,
it's different for coaches, but we'll leave that for later.
Another person that got in trouble for something he did in the heat of the moment, Adam Fanor-Blake, said some derogatory terms to the referee after they got robbed. I don't care what both of you say. They got robbed, Manly. All right. But, like, at the end of the day, he apologised, Fanor-Blake. He didn't mean it. Like, again, it's the heat of a moment. He copped only 2 weeks. Now some media's come out today and said, I think Ray Hadley came out, like he never offends anyone.
Apparently, the guy that's his son is a cop that got done? Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, and he's outraged. He's outraged by extra comments that he said down the tunnel. I mean, isn't that supposed to be whatever happens on the field, stays on the field?
Well, that's the point that I was going to bring. I saw a comment about this topic in regards to what happened. No one heard what Fanor-Blake said. On live TV, no one heard what he said.
No.
It was the journalists that go out of their way to find that match record or the audio of that match to see exactly what he says to publicise it. They don't do that. No one knows what he said. Only between him and the referee, exactly what happened stays on the field, right? He could still get punished for it just by saying dissent. Fanor-Blake cops suspension for dissent. Doesn't have to go into detail of what he said. But again, the saying whatever happens on the field stays on the field, it's almost out of the game at the moment. To be honest, I don't even know why referees are mic'd up.
But I don't get why it's escalating. I mean, it's getting even worse for him. He copped 2 weeks. Maybe it wasn't enough. Maybe it was. Who cares? He went and apologised to the ref. Ref accepted the apology. He knows. He's not an idiot, the ref. But he knows it was just he was angry in the moment. Remember the media got angry at the Brisbane players for laughing and joking after a loss? But this guy gets angry, shows his emotion, how pissed off he is about losing a game, and he's getting slated even worse than the Broncos players.
No, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I love the passion, but what he said and the way he worded it, 2 weeks was still pretty. I don't think it was harsh enough. From a realistic standpoint, on just based off the history of what they usually punish footy players with for simple things like touching a ref and all this crap, I thought he was pretty lucky to get 2 weeks to begin with. And then emerging news came out that he said further stuff to the ref. Like, that's pretty stupid after that. And the other thing is that no one's talked about is that the video ref made the call. Like, he did him a favour by going upstairs. He could have just ignored it and said full time. Like, we're not expecting him to think that quickly on the field. It's obviously
no, but if you lose a game like that and the call's going against you and you're frustrated, you're gonna get angry. Like, not many people can hold their cool. It didn't cost them the game, but it cost them a penalty in the moment. You can't blame him. What about Corey Horsburgh? He put his fingers up. We just praised him last week. Remember? I was happy with that passion, but he put his fingers up at the end of the day to the public. Is that a good look?
It's not, but
and no one said anything.
Didn't get suspended either.
Nothing.
I don't think or want Fanor-Blake to get more than 2 weeks or whatever
but
it is.
I think he
But
will.
just based on the history of how tough they've been on players, I was surprised that he only got 2 weeks with how direct he spoke to the ref. A swear word in that the other term that everyone's going. Let's be honest as well.
But Volandis came out and said, a kid's going to hear that and he's going to use those words and bully someone at school. Like, what the hell is that about? Like, I've liked Volandis to this point. That comment's just dumb. I mean, what's he trying to prove there? Anyway, move on. Let's move on. I'm sick of that. Just quickly, Brisbane lost 6 in a row.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, because we had our thoughts last week.
Honestly, can I just say one thing?
Go.
Brisbane better win a game because I'm sick of talking about them every week.
Look, this week it was an improved effort. Look, we spoke about the contrast in the press conferences last week from Seabold and Payton. It just goes to show. Like, I wasn't surprised that Warriors won the game. Just look at how tough Payton goes on him. And Seabold always talks about game plans, executions. He doesn't question character or effort. And it seems like whenever the Broncos are down, whenever momentum's against them, they give up, they drop off tackles, and it starts to become a chain effect. That's been happening ever since coronavirus came in. They won their first 2 games. First game back against Eels. Couple 6 again calls, the game gets away from them, and they start to give up slowly and slowly. In attack, again, improved effort this week, but just...
Why do you think the Broncos have been the worst to adapt on the 6 again call? What do you think their team doesn't have that every other team, or most other teams have, that they've been able to adapt?
I guess it's just the overall resilience. Like I keep saying every week that Seabold keeps bringing in new, younger guys. Like we need players like Luke Lewis in the side.
He's bleeding them early.
Pretty much. He's thinking...
Luke Lewis, who?
We need players like... Yes, like Luke Lewis in the side.
You got Ben Teo.
Yeah, but that was a bit of a strange signing, to be honest. Like, he hasn't played league in what, like
6
bit
years,
more?
I think. The CEO went on 100% footy. Last week, Darren Lockyer was on 100% footy, and they asked him, they go, is there any performance incentives for Seabold's contract? Like, if he has a bad run, can you sack him? And Lockyer said no. And then this week, the CEO, Paul White, comes out and says, yes, there is. So no one's on the same page over there. There's something going on there, man. It's not only on the field, it's off the field. All right, let's move on to the weekend's games. Massive game out of we predicted it's going to be match of the week, Storm versus Roosters, but the way it panned out, I didn't see that coming at all. I mean, what happened was it 22-12, and then Melbourne scored the 2 tries in 5 minutes.
Yes.
Then then Roosters got a penalty. Kyle Flanagan goes for 2 from the side, and then they come back down the field. Kiri kicks a field goal. Short kickoff, they get it back. Pappenhausen out of nowhere kicks a field goal. And then Boyd Cordner got concussed. He dropped the ball in the play the ball. I don't know why he didn't stay down. And then Jake Friend got on him, stuffed the ending because it was a penalty. And Storm came away with the 2 points. Is that the best club game you've ever seen in recent memory? I think it is for me.
Look, you could argue the last 10 minutes was probably one of the best you've seen, but for me, there was way too many errors for it to be considered the best. Look, 2 years ago, I think it was 2019 or 2018 when Storm played Roosters and Latrell kicked the field goal in Melbourne. I thought that was a better game.
Yeah.
Like high quality. You had the comeback from Melbourne from 20-0 down. One of the best field goals we've seen from Latrell. And he had a great game as well. I just thought it was more.
But that's the thing with this game. You expect them to be perfect, these two teams, right? And they made errors, but it was still they didn't like shy away from it. They weren't scared to play. They kept trying. It was crazy.
Yeah, look, it was
not impressed.
No, it was a good game. It was just I think we've all got that, you know, that those boxing terms that you do. First 2 minutes of the round, boxer does nothing. Last minute he goes out and steals the round at the end. I feel like that's what the game was. It was a pretty good game. It was kind of one-sided towards, the second half where Roosters started running away, and then Melbourne just scored 2 tries in a row and made it a great finish, which is why it's stuck in our head about why it's such a good game. What made it a good game, let's be honest, is that 2 field goals, clutch field goals from both players.
Yeah.
Right? And the only one that I could think of like that was probably the Manly game, Manly Bulldogs, where Hodkinson hit 2.
The semi-final,
The semi-final.
Melbourne played awesome. And they were down by 10 points. Roosters played poor, but they were still winning by 10 points. We thought, bro, what's going on? Like, it's ridiculous how good the Roosters are. It's a testament to them. But Storm, they still had something in them without Munster as well. They were about to get criticised. They were about to get, by the media. And it's funny because they started Smith at halfback, and then they only started playing good when he went back to dummy half. That's what happened because Riley Jacks went on, if you remember. So he went back on. Brendan Smith went to forward. He played an awesome game, Brendan Smith.
Brendan Smith is what you want in every team.
He's a game changer.
He's a little bulldozer.
He is.
Every time he causes an error, I just love when he gets up and just screams,
He is the much, much, much better version of Josh Reynolds.
That
means a lot coming from you.
He is. No, because he not only does he show effort, but he shows some composure in some parts of the game.
He's got different responsibilities to Reynolds.
Yeah, but it's all about, from what we call effort players. That's what Smith for me is. He's an effort player, but he also shows composure. He tends to follow the game plan a bit more. unlike Reynolds. Reynolds likes to go sideways, play off the cuff, which is fine if that's what kind of player you are, but I don't think that's what kind of player Reynolds is.
I mean, hey, talking about Reynolds, let's move on to the Tigers-Panthers game.
What a game.
That was a great game as well. I didn't expect it to be that fiery,
honestly,
passionate.
Any other round that game was played, that would have been match of the round. But
of course.
The Roosters and Storms beat that out.
Like I said, I didn't expect that kind of fiery match, but I told you Tigers were going to give them... Like, I thought they might steal it, and they almost did. But again, composure, they didn't have it, the Tigers.
It's hard to steal it when you got Curacao in the squad, you know?
Well, what a match win at the end.
I can't
shout out to Api. Are we getting him on soon?
Look, we'll talk about that later. I can't believe he wasn't even in the top 5 Supercoach. McInnes got in higher than him.
Unbelievable. I have him, man. He's my starting hooker. It's disgusting. It's a disgrace.
But, what we're talking about the Penrith game, is it the Ivan Cleary issue?
Yeah, so at the end of it, Ivan was probably copping it from a Tigers fan. I think it was just like one Tigers fan, and they gave him the old, clap. Have a look at the scoreboard over there. They gave it to him. That's it. The kiss, everything. I loved it. I'm a fan. I think you're a fan.
Look, I love the passion, you know? I just love the passion. But go, Tony. Tell us why you don't like
Tony,
it.
I'm not sure about you
It's great for the theatrics of the game, but this bloke went to the Tigers, signed a 4 or 5 year contract, whatever it was, left a year and a half in, made up lies about how he wasn't talking to Penrith, pretty much ran away from the Tigers just to be with his beloved son. And then you got this guy fingering, you could say he's fingering a fan, but he's fingering pretty much the whole club.
He didn't finger anyone.
Oh, sorry, not a finger.
He blew a kiss.
He blew kisses.
No, it was pretty he was probably copping that from the fan.
Very condescending, in my opinion.
Yeah, but
it's not just a fan. When you see him do that, he's doing that to the whole club.
Why does he have to show respect to a fan that was most likely giving him stick for the whole game?
But that's what I'm saying. He's not just giving it to the fan. That's an indication he's giving it to the club. You got to think about your actions.
He didn't know he was on camera, but that's the thing. You got to remember that he was probably looking at the fan.
I think there was a good chance he knew. Can I say something to you two soccer fans? What does a soccer player do?
Different.
What does a soccer player do when he scores against his former team?
If you ask Luis Suarez, he celebrates.
Shows respect.
Bit of respect.
But is Ivan Cleary a player?
He's not even on the field.
Is Ivan Cleary a player?
Even worse, in my opinion.
Jose Mourinho
doesn't care. Does not show respect.
He goes to any old club, he disrespects them. You know why? Because it G's up his team.
But
he cares about his own team, brother.
Different scenarios just as well. Like I said, he pretty much used the Tigers.
I understand.
I've felt bad for the Tigers for the past 10 years. They've always been hovering around that top 8 region. You got this guy coming in. Everyone has high expectations. Plays around with their emotions pretty much.
But I know a few Tiger supporters, and honestly, they don't sit there thinking, I've got Ivan Cleary on my mind because he left the Tigers. They've moved on.
Nah, look,
they've moved on.
There are a lot of fans. I agree. There are a lot of fans.
It's on their mind now after that incident.
Yeah, it's on their mind now because he beat them.
That's it. So what's the solution? But what's the solution? Tigers got to beat him around 16, right?
100%.
That's it. So you got to suck it up and put it on him now.
So why do we have no responsibility on the fans that were giving him stick for no reason?
That's what the fans contribute to the game, but you can't control.
Because they pay their hard-earned money,
and
you can say whatever they want.
Millions of fans sitting in the stand.
But you can't compare.
We don't own the fans.
You can't compare soccer to rugby league. Rugby league has no respect in it whatsoever in most parts of the game.
I disagree. I think
where they've
got more respect
than soccer.
Like the way soccer players dive on the ground and carry on.
I'm talking about respect for old fans and old clubs and everything like that.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess not on that level.
Do you know what I mean? So you can't really compare those two.
I mean, look, are you not entertained?
We are.
I'm very entertained. I want to see more of that from Ivan Cleary. Let's move on. I know it's a bit early to talk about Origin. Look, the Morris boys, they've been killing it lately. I mean, for the Roosters. Do you deny that?
No, they play really, really good.
And look,
their old form.
Look, for me, if they hold this kind of form towards the back end of the year, they get to the grand final, whatever, the Roosters, and they're fresh, they're still healthy. They might not be fresh, but they're still healthy and ready to go. Do you not think it'd be wise for New South Wales to give them a call-up?
110%, I think they should. If they're still in form, 100% they should
be calling
them in. It's not just the experience factor and going back to old veterans and things like that. They've got a combination with Tedesco and Keary. You can't forget that. That's definitely going to benefit New South Wales. And Keary is likely to be picked. You also got Cordner as well. And if you want to argue, name me like a better centre or winger more in form right now than Morris. Than the Morris.
I can't right now, honestly. That's what I'm saying.
Look, I'm thinking the only one that I can think of off the top of my head is probably Jennings, who's another veteran.
Don't say Gutho, yeah, keep going.
Thanks for the opinion from the Queenslander who wants us to lose. So, look, are they playing great? Yes. Are they playing in one of the best teams in the comp? Yes. Do we want to go backwards as a New South Wales team? I don't think so. That's me personally. I feel like we've got enough good players out there. Look, take back 6 years ago when we were struggling to find top quality players. Yes, I'll take them back. But the amount of players that we have, the young players that we have right now that have proved themselves over the last 2-3 years in Origin, I feel like we should give them the respect of how they've been playing in Origin, because there's Origin players and there's non-Origin players. I'm not saying that the Morris boys are not Origin players, but Queensland for so many years picked the same team even if they were not performing in club footy because they were Origin players. New South Wales have found really, really good players, young players who are playing really, really good. If you had the Fox and Tom Trbojevic in centres, are you complaining?
Of course not.
Okay. And then Blake Ferguson on the other wing.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you want Josh Morris to go into the other centre role, fine. But I don't think they're going to pick one Morris brother. I think they'll pick both, which is why I don't want them there. But would I have Wyden there? I'd put him in centre. I'd have Latrell there in centre.
No, I wouldn't go with Wyden. I think last year he didn't perform the best at centre, and he hasn't played centre since last year. Same with Latrell. He hasn't played centre since last year.
Tommy doesn't play centre at all.
He's not killing it at fullback, so I don't see how they'd go with Latrell.
Tommy's not playing. Never played centre in his life, and he still kills it.
Tommy's above them, like, easily. I think they would go. They might pick him ahead of Tommy if he's still injured, or he's had. I think he needs at least 2 to 3 games before he gets picked in Origin.
Who's this?
Tommy. If he gets re-injured again, if he re-injures his hammy, who knows?
Last year we said that when he was injured for game 1 and he just became fit and they didn't play him, I said they should have played him. We lost that game. He came back game 2 and destroyed it. I think if Tom Trbojevic is fit, play him. I don't need to see a week or 2 of him playing in the game. We know what he can do. We know how he can play. If Jonathan Thurston was injured and then was fit the week of Origin, are you going to say, no, we don't want to play him? You're going to say, no, put Jonathan Thurston in because you know he's a good player. That's Tom Trbojevic, Tedesco. Are those 2 players? I don't need to see them playing footy for a week or 2. I'll just throw them right in.
You got to keep in mind, like, they're retired, the Morris boys, yeah? So, like, they might say no if they get called by Brad Fittler. Like you said before, combinations, they work in Origin. They're pretty crucial in Origin.
So you want them in?
Yeah, of course I do. If they're still playing at this level at the end of the year and they're fresh.
So who do you take out?
Wyden.
Okay,
that's
what I said. I'll give Josh Morris, but I don't think they'll just pick Josh. I think they'll have to pick both.
No, I can see them picking at least one.
No, but all I'm saying,
I don't think they have to go with both.
No, they'll go with both. They have to.
But you can't see him picking at least.
What I'm saying, if they're still in form, they're the most informed backs in the comp. These 2 old heads by the end of the year, and they're not injured. They're not injury prone at all, and they get asked to play, and they say yes. Are you going to be angry? I'm not. I think they're going to do the job for you.
I won't be as in, put it this way, right? Mitchell Pearce has been picked for so long, and every time he gets picked, I still support the bloke because I want New South Wales to win.
They won.
So
finally,
I know, but what I'm saying is, I'm not gonna sit there and get angry about them not playing. But I mean, Queensland had this tradition of, giving the players that have won it the respect of getting picked again. New South Wales did not do it for a long time. Laurie Daly was probably the worst thing that happened in New South Wales, right?
They were loyal to losers pretty much, as in like
a lot
every time. I didn't get it.
And to show, look, if they don't play the Morris twins after game 1 and they don't perform, I understand changing it then, right? But to not show the respect of those players that have won over the last, I know they've won 2 in the last 3 years. If to not give them that respect, then I can see why players want to play for Queensland. It's got a better culture. If they give them that respect, where I feel like New South Wales, every year we're talking about who's going to be in the New South Wales squad. Where I feel like in Queensland, we know who's going to be there because they give them that respect and they know who their Origin players are.
Yeah.
You don't think they owe the Morris brothers the respect of picking them again when they were probably in the top 5 players for the Blues in the past 15 years? They were always consistently good. It's a it's
They won
very
it, though.
unlucky on them to have had to go against Thurston and
Yeah,
Slater.
I know, but they
and
won.
Smith.
But they've won. They've won one before. Like, if they didn't win one, okay, put them in there. But they've won one. What's the point? Like, what's the point of changing your side that has won last year just to get another Morris boys another title? What's the, like another Origin series? Like, I don't see the benefit of that. If they never won one, I'd be like, yeah, put them in, let them win one. After
The thing
all
for
that
me,
service.
to finish off, thing for me is Freddie loves picking players in form. He doesn't like to pick players, even though he knows they can do a job. He doesn't really like to pick players that are out of form, that aren't confident, you know what I mean, in themselves. It's going to be awkward at it because it's the end. It's usually in the middle of the year or the middle of the season, and that's going to be the end of the season where some of the players have been gone for a month holidaying. So it's going to be a weird dynamic at the end of the year. We'll come back to it anyway. Let's move on to the weekend.
Did we miss the Knights Eagles, or we're not talking about that? The robbed.
They were robbed. What else do you want to say?
I want to hear this. I wanted to hear this. You know.
They got robbed, man. What else do you want? You know they got robbed. Why are you trying to justify it? Everyone knows they got robbed. The whole world, except you two, think they
Hey, don't get me into this, right? You two go at it, and I'll sit here and watch.
Look, first of all, let me just say Bassie's on my side, just to clarify things.
Yeah, there you go.
I am baffled by how many people have said that it should have been a penalty. Do they just want theatre? Is that what it is? They want it to go to golden
Isn't
point?
that what you want? Theatrics?
I do, but you know,
Are you a
true
Knights
sport
fan?
comes first.
Are you a Knights fan?
I'm not.
So why do you care?
Why do I care?
I tipped the
care about
Knights
the
and I
game.
thought I got robbed. Manly got robbed still.
Look, that's irrelevant about who I tipped, who I wanted to win, who I go for. The player was committed to the tackle. Like, how
That
did you
wasn't
want him
even
to
a
pull up?
tackle. It wasn't even a tackle.
But you're allowed to push somebody. There's nothing.
Pushed him in the back.
If
So-
someone
If he's right next to the touchline, are you saying the guy can't push him out?
If the guy wasn't in front of Funa, who he pushed, Funa would have flown 20 metres into the
Solomon,
stands.
can I say, if someone ran straight at me and chipped and chased right before they got to me and I tackled them, is that not legal? It's legal, right?
All right.
It's simultaneous. And let me just say the other thing. Even if Bradman Best didn't push him, I think he would have just collided with the guy in front of him anyway.
If he didn't push him, I think it would have been a penalty. Because the other guy might have hit him a bit later.
That would have looked even worse.
Might have hit him a bit later. So
let me,
I think it would have been a penalty if he didn't push him.
let me give you this scenario, all right? This same thing happens.
Grand final.
It's a GF or it's a finals. No, don't do that. Or it's state of origin, all right? And it happens to your team. Are you going to be saying to me, I can't believe I'm baffled?
It's
Get
a
out of
shit
here.
go. It's a shit.
You will not be saying that.
No, obviously, because
What's that got to do with
I've got
anything,
my
Solomon?
passion.
Because if it was your team, it's different.
Yeah, but you can't
Because
think about it.
That's
in your
when
team.
you bring in your inner bias and it just starts.
It's not
your
about
opinion
bias.
Is not as valid because you're being biased.
yeah,
Are you
because-
saying it's not a 50-50 call?
No.
It's
Look,
a 50-50 call.
I think it's.
It is a 50-50
If
call.
I
it's a
think it's
50-50 call.
60-40. 60-40 in favour of no penalty.
It's a 50-50
I think it's
call.
higher than that. I think it's 80-20.
No, it's a 50. Simultaneous acts like that
Where's
always
the
go to the
common
attacking
sense?
team.
Where's
We
the
know
common
that.
sense?
Simultaneous acts like that go to the attacking team since
Yeah,
when?
simultaneous acts like that. Jake
Kickers-
Trebojevic in the
kickers-
semi-final.
Kickers always get tackled after kicking the ball from
Yeah.
40 metres
I
out,
get
and
that.
no one
but
gets
f-
penalties
from
for it.
behind. And it's a different scenario. They're going for a try at the end of the game. You're not going to be saying to me, "Oh, it's 70-30." You're going to be pissed.
All right, what happens if the guy dummies a kick and Bradman Best doesn't push him, and he just continues running?
There was a guy in front of him.
Doesn't matter. Bradman Best doesn't have to sit there and say, I'm going to let my other teammate take it if he's in the
Bradman
spot.
Best shouldn't be wary of the idea that he might kick it, so I don't want to go for the tackle in case he kicks it and I tackle him late. The guy was committed to making a tackle. He made the tackle regardless whether he was going to kick it or not. Like, common sense comes into play. He was committed to the tackle.
When
I
I
don't
saw-
see how.
Look, I don't say this is a consistent. It would have been a
And
consistent
I'm
call
so-
every time. I don't
again-
think
Look,
so.
put it this way. When I saw the video ref, I looked at it and I was like, yeah, no try. And then I heard the video ref say no try and I was like, yeah, that's a fair call. And then I saw the Manly players react like that. I was like, why are they reacting like this?
And
Of course they're going to react like that.
No, I know they're going to react
You're gonna
like
get
Jake.
upset.
I didn't think Jake
Like,
was going to react like that.
Me and Abbas were watching it, and we thought for them to get that call, they would have been like scraping the bottom of a barrel just to get.
But
get
even
that call.
Newcastle
Like, it
couldn't
was
believe
so-
their luck. But even after the game, they couldn't believe they got away with it.
Not really.
Yeah, they were
They were
cheer-
celebrating pretty hard.
Bro, they were celebrating hard. 'Cause they
I
were
think
nervous.
Clemmer was rubbing it in the way he celebrated.
But they were nervous. Don't tell me they knew 100% that they got away with it.
All right, just quickly,
Let's
just to
Move
touch
on, man. I'm sick of it.
Can I just touch on something?
Go.
Are you happy with the referee's boss coming out and saying it was the wrong call? Like,
I don't even have to say anything. He came out and said that.
well, even if it was the wrong call, should they stop doing that?
No,
Like,
they
doesn't
should
it look
explain.
stupid
They
on
should
the game?
explain it.
So are you saying?
And,
are you,
and it was,
so are
if it
you
was a
saying?
50-50
But he said
call,
it
why
in,
is
his,
he
in
saying
his
hold up,
opinion.
hold up.
He said it
Definitely
in
wrong.
his opinion.
Hold up. So are you saying that? Who do you support? Which team do you support?
Why is that even a question?
No, because apparently
The Bulldogs.
You are okay because you wanted to know who I supported until 8 months ago. So the Bulldogs, right? You're gonna put that on file, Bulldogs?
Yeah, I'll go
Okay.
for the Bulldogs. What's the
Okay,
big
'cause
deal?
I've seen other jackets recently.
I work for them.
So are you telling me that the next game that the Bulldogs have against, let's say, Parramatta, right?
Yep.
Gutho is running down the sideline, kicks it, and Remus Smith does the exact same thing Bradman Best does, and they give penalty. Are you going to be happy with that call?
Yes, because I would have tipped Para. Let's move on, man.
No comment.
Let's move on. Do you really think the Bulldogs have a chance against Para? Who would be tipping them? Thursday night, Cowboys Roosters up in Townsville. A big call made by the Cowboys. They've shoved their $1 million player to the wing, and they put the rookie, what do they call him, the hammer, at fullback. Does Paul Green want to get sacked, honestly, like tomorrow? What's going on?
Look, I think just to defend his logic, I think he was just saying that Holmes still carrying that ankle injury, so he's not to his full potential. So I can see why he wants him to gradually build his playing tolerance, I guess, on the wing. I don't know, but I haven't seen much of this new fullback that's coming in.
He played well against Newcastle. He played really well.
What about in the juniors? I'm saying, was he
Was
like
he
a Kalen
Ponga?
Ponga? Was he a Ben Barber? Was he a?
No, I wouldn't say he had that kind of
He looks
talent.
too
He's like an Addo Carr. It's a bit more like an Addo Carr.
like
Like
a
fitness.
Matty Bowen?
Yeah, he's a bit taller, but yeah, it's kind of like that.
Even they had another Cowboys winger that was lightning quick. And
Gillard
he was in the
Mosby.
nines. Yeah, where's he?
I don't know.
I feel like this could be another Gillard Mosby situation.
Can we just acknowledge how bad Kyle Felt played on the weekend?
Mate, I swear, I was gonna say. I remember I told you. I thought, yeah, he might be a chance for Queensland. He's top try scorer. He's one of the top point scorers in the league. After that game,
Gutho threw like 4 cutout balls in front of him.
he didn't want to get in front of Stevo. He didn't want a part of him. Roosters got Cordner and Tupou out. Is that going to make a difference for you guys this week?
No.
Nah. Look, they had a bad game last week in terms of concentration, in terms of errors and discipline and things like that. So I can't imagine them doing that again. So they have to bounce back, I guess.
Yeah, I think the Roosters are going to take this.
Oh, your prediction
Yeah,
undefeated the rest of the season.
I'm
That
screwing
was
about
that
that
going on.
Oh yeah, you stuffed up there.
I think Roosters lost that game.
Look, it was a bold prediction.
What about from now?
So
From now, they won't lose the game.
it's so look, when he said that, I was like, that's very hard. It's very hard.
That was
in
before.
NRL.
That was before Radley and Verrills got injured, but so it's different now.
Fair enough.
Melbourne did not have Cameron Munster.
Roosters had a bad game. So.
Yeah, true. But it's hard to make that kind of call on an NRL team because NRL has 1 or 2 results 99% of the time.
But
It's
Roosters
either win
should
or
have
loss.
won that game. Like we said, like they were defending their line a lot of that game, and then it'll take them one set, and they'll go down the field
just
and
lost
score
the
a
plot.
try. And then they just let 2 in 2 minutes.
I
Lost it
don't
from
know.
there.
They probably had money on it.
Josh Morris, I think, played a bad game too. He lost it a few
Oh.
times.
I think he had on and off moments, but Brett Morris definitely had a good game.
Titans Warriors 6:00 Friday. What a game! This should have been match of the week.
I can't believe it's on. I mean, 6 o'clock on a Friday. Fair enough.
It should have
But-
been match of the week, honestly. Sunday Arvo. The only big in, I think, is Tuivasa-Sheck back in. It's at the Gold Coast. Titans played poor against Sharks. Warriors got the win against Broncos. Warriors. I'm gonna go Warriors.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is there much to say?
Pretty much it's a flip of the coin. The Titans try hard, but again, there's a cultural issue that seems to be happening there. Like they get a lot of decent signings that just turn to irrelevance, I guess.
They're dead even too. $1.90 each.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Warriors.
Warriors.
Friday after that game, Friday night 8:00. It's the Rabbitohs and the Tigers.
No Leilua.
It's going to be a good game. It's going to be another good game. I think Tigers have a chance. The Rabbitohs haven't been convincing, but they've been getting wins.
I think this is another 50-50 game again. Very, very impressed by Adam Dwayhe, as he'd like to be called in the area.
It's Adam Dewey, man.
I think he'll get the wood over Latrell this week, but in terms of actually winning the game, it's a toss of a coin, but I'm going to go Tigers.
With Leilua out, I've got to go Rabbitohs. If the Tigers are a better team with Leilua in there, then I don't see them getting over the Rabbitohs.
What do you think of Josh Reynolds? How's he currently doing?
He played all right last week. All right.
Has he not added that good dynamic to this team?
He's a different player to Benji. Whether that's what the Tigers need or not, I haven't really been watching them that closely to say. But look, they look like a much tougher side. I don't know if that's because of Josh Reynolds, but they look like it's harder to get a victory against them these days.
Fair enough.
Let's go Saturday 3 p.m. It's another good game. Sharks, they're in form, regardless who they've been beating.
I think Moylan's out though.
Yeah, Josh Dugan back at fullback against the Panthers, who I'm pretty sure To'o's out, and Naden goes to the wing.
I don't get that. Crichton, isn't he a natural winger?
But
And Naden's a natural centre.
They played wing the other time he came in for someone and for Mansell, and he played well.
I think Crichton's more dangerous though. That's why they want him in the centres.
The thing is, right, he played well, but he did miss a try, and the reason why he missed that try was he was on the left wing, and instead of grounding, he was going for a try on the corner. Instead of grounding it with your left hand, he grounded it with his right hand. Somebody knocked that hand, and then he lost it. Right?
Yeah.
That's the difference between a centre and a winger. So if Crichton is a natural winger, you've got to play him there because those are tries that could happen nearly every week.
Do I have to ask you? No. I think Moylan being out, like you said, is going to be a...
Penrith.
Okay. I think Moylan being out is going to make a difference. It's going to take something away from the Sharks, and I think Penrith going to get a win again. Let's go Saturday, 7:30. Raiders Storm. Pretty big game. The Raiders probably need this victory more than the Storm at the moment to kind of prove their credentials, but that wasn't the first game back from the COVID period. Raiders dominated them in Melbourne.
Yeah.
So I think Melbourne are going to be pretty pumped, especially after that big win against the Roosters.
Yeah.
Even though it's in Canberra, I still think the Storm. I'm not happy with the Canberra attack. Even the defense a little bit towards the back end of the game against the Dragons, they stuffed up a bit. I think Melbourne can win this.
I was going to go with Melbourne just because solely of the fact that Raiders have beaten them so much lately that surely you'd expect them to get the wood over them this time and learn their lessons based on the past. But with Munster out and it's in Canberra...
Vunivalu's out as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go.
It's going to be close. It'll be close.
Oh, it will be, yeah.
Yeah, like they get up for it, Canberra.
Yeah, Raiders are not playing to their full potential right now. I feel like they're a bit lethargic.
But I think they've beaten them.
Back.
I think they've beaten them the last 4 times, Canberra.
That's what I'm saying. So like you kind of expect Melbourne to bounce back, but
surely.
I'm not impressed by the Raiders. I think they're getting some victories that are... I mean, they're looking good in certain parts of the game, and then they're just looking really bad in other parts, and they're letting teams like Dragons and all that get back into it.
That's the problem. They're leaking like there's just a drop in like.
But even
mentally,
even when they're playing well, like for what we consider, in regards to the game, well, it's still not the best that we've seen Canberra play.
They're not as potent in attack. I'd say.
they're not clinical. They're not as clinical anymore too. So I think Melbourne are going to win this.
Knights Eels Sunday afternoon. Edric Lee's out. Tex Hoy goes to the wing. Nathan Brown comes back from suspension for the Eels.
Tony's boy, Tex Hoy.
It's in Newcastle. First home game there, I think, for them. I think it'll be a close game as well. Again, another 50-50 call for me. I always tip against Para. I'm going to tip Para, like you said last week, just to jinx them.
Good value for Newcastle at $2.35.
It is, and Dry Field. Not bad last week too.
Hey, it was good, yeah.
I'm going to go with Knights on this one.
An upset.
Big fan of Tex Hoy, no matter where he plays.
Their attack's really bad, but I know the defense is good, but their attack's horrible.
Yeah, but you got to remember...
First game back at home too. Remember that? Plus, King Moses as well. Not in the team, so...
Who? Because you don't even like him. Why are you pretending to burn us? You don't even like him.
Is it working?
You don't even like him, but...
It's working, but isn't it?
No, but you don't like him. Jai Field's better. I think Jai Field's better.
After one game, when he
did he play well?
He did his job.
That's it.
But who turned up for Para? Answer the question, Solomon.
Dylan Brown.
King Gutho, is that what you want to hear?
Yes.
He's leading Dally M. I can't believe that.
The thing we've got to remember with Newcastle is Ponga's been playing really, really average over the last couple of weeks. So if he decides to turn up this game, Parramatta are going to be in big trouble. So I'm going to go with Newcastle.
Let's go to Sunday, 6:30. Dragons Sea-Eagles. Obviously, the big out is Adam Fanua-Blake. I think he's going to be a massive loss for them. The Dragons, Tarek Sims is back. Ben Hunt will start at hooker. And Karen McInnes goes to 13. I think the Dragons can win this.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dragons as well. I think it's a good move to chuck Hunt at hooker and McInnes to lock. I think McInnes definitely got the endurance, just overall commitment towards a full 80 minutes. I think he would definitely suit that position. And like I said before to you, Solomon, off air, I think Hunt never has a bad game at hooker. So,
but I think the
definitely
outs for Manly are going to affect them a lot, right, Bas?
Yeah,
look,
especially for Noah Blake.
Yeah, look, Manly have been hit with a lot of injuries and suspensions that, I feel like every week there's another player out. And I've tried to give them the benefit of the doubt each week, but I think it's just got to the point now where they've just got too many key players out. So I'm going to go Dragons here. I don't think Cameron McInnes is going to play well, though. Because he's just, he's very short for a lock.
But I think he's done well so far. Like
He's like a Craig Wing.
A what, Mo, you mean?
He's a bench player. What?
Craig Wing was hooker. Oh, yeah. I get what you mean.
Bit of a utility, small.
Dean Young.
Let's go match of the week. It's the Broncos and the Bulldogs. Saturday night, 5:30. Honestly, I don't know what to say. Adam Elliott's out. Luke Thompson, our British recruit's finally starting at 13, even though he's a prop. And Anthony Seibold named the same 17. Tony?
I think Dogs definitely got better defense than Brisbane, which is gonna worry us, just based on how poor Brisbane's been in attack. Like I said, very, very flat with the ball. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have confidence.
Can I ask a question? While you have a little think about who's going to win this.
Yeah.
Why in God's green earth is Kerrod Holland on the bench coming in as a replacement hooker when you bought Sione Katoa in the off season to play that role?
It's a good question.
He's in the reserve, Sione Katoa, but apparently Kerrod Holland is so great that he needs to be there. He's
Craig Wing. He's Craig Wing, isn't he?
There you go.
I don't.
Honestly,
surely it's not that hard to be an NRL coach that you know that Kerrod Holland shouldn't be on the team.
Honestly, just for that reason, Broncos are going to win this. They're going to win 50-48.
Yeah, sounds believable, I guess.
There's no defense. No one wants to defend anymore. These two teams, bro, it's the battle of the wooden spoon, let's be fair.
Yeah, I'll pick Brisbane too. I don't have any faith in the Bulldogs.
Okay, do you have faith in Brisbane? You're going to tip the Bulldogs.
Look, they started crying last week, so I'll give him...
Oh, that was crocodile tears, bro.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
That was rubbish.
Say they're going to bounce back. Can't imagine them losing again at home, again.
What are you crying about? You suck. Just get inside, say sorry to the fans, and get over it.
Solomon, I'll call out one player who I thought... I'll call out one player who I thought probably would have been faking it. It was probably Isaac Luke. He was laughing the week before. He's been at the club for 2 weeks. And he was going against his old club. So you would have been laughing with your teammates, right? But they got roasted during the week by the media. So
rubbish.
Look, it's playing on them mentally. Don't doubt the...
No, I know. Alex Glenn, obviously. I'm talking about the rest of them. They're all...
Croft?
Brodie Croft has been there for 2 weeks.
Yeah, 6 months.
Any bold predictions for this weekend, boys? Hat-tricks? Sevo scoring 5, something?
I think it was pretty dirty that they did not let Sevo get his 5th when they went for goal. And how far ahead were they? Like 20 points ahead, and they went
40 points ahead.
40 points ahead, and they go for goal. That was pretty dirty act. Bold predictions.
Just give me a bold prediction.
I'm
Something.
Gonna go,
Tell me Kiko's going to score a hat-trick.
He's not.
I'm going to go Dufty to be in the top 3 plays this week. I'm a big fan of Dufty and what he's been doing lately. So
yeah, he's been all right.
My bold prediction, ready? Latrell to absolutely have a cracker.
And my bold prediction is Clint Gutherson will not win the Dally M. I don't care what anyone says.
That's not a bold prediction.
All right? That's for the
He's
week.
on top, bro.
No, we want a bold prediction for the week.
For the week? Kickout scores a hat-trick.
All right, give me a bold prediction. Who's winning the Dally M then? If you want to call him out for not winning the Dally M.
Api Coruscant.
Hey, yeah. Look, I can't disagree with that.
This bloke.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Bass, thank you.
Cheers, bud.
Tony, thank you.
Cheers,
you can hear us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe, YouTube.
Don't forget to like and follow our Instagram page.
_undrafted. Shouted out by a bloke in a bar. Cheers, boys. Yeah, thank you. I have to wait.
You've got it.